Welcome to all of you in this video. In the last video, we saw the famous invasion of Somnath by Mahmud of Ghazni. And we also saw that how he was treated as a conqueror by the Muslim world, and his invasion of Somnath was compared with the invasion of Prophet Muhammad at the temple of Manat, the famous Arabian goddess. Now we will see that what happened to Mahmud of Ghazni after this invasion. Well, after this invasion, when Mahmud of Ghazni reached Ghazni back, after some time he contracted malaria and tuberculosis and died. After his death, Ghazni was ruled by many weak rulers, and those weak rulers were completely overrun by Seljuk Turks. Later on, in 1141 AD, Ghur Khan of Karakhitai dynasty of Turkish stock completely devastated the Seljuk Turks, and in this way, from the ashes of the Ghaznavid Empire emerged two powers. The first were the Khwarezm Shahs and the second were the Ghurs. Now in this video, we are going to talk explicitly about the Ghurs because their history is directly connected with the history of the subcontinent. Well, let's start with the origin of the Ghurs or the Ghurids. Well, the Ghurs or the Ghurid dynasty originated from the inaccessible regions of central Afghanistan, which included Herat, Farah, Rabat, Dawar, Kurwan, and Gurjistan. This was the same region which was once invaded by Mahmud of Ghazni in 1108 AD. During this period, it was inhabited by the Buddhist monks. This area was suited for their secluded life. It was perfect for them. When Mahmud of Ghazni invaded this central Afghanistan inhabited by Buddhists in 1108 to 1111 AD, he killed many of them and converted a majority of the population to Islam. Well, now let's come back to the Ghurids. The story of the Ghurids, especially Muhammad Ghiri, who invaded India, starts with two brothers. The elder one was called Ghiyath Aleen Muhammad, and the younger one was called Shihabuddin Muhammad. Shihabuddin Muhammad is also known as Muizuddin Muhammad bin Sam, famously known as Muhammad Ghiri, who invaded India and is famous for the battles of Tarain. Well, during this period, both of them were incarcerated in prison. By whom? None other than their own uncle Alauddin Hussain. Alauddin Hussain was the same ruler who had invaded Bahram Shah. Bahram Shah was one of the last descendants of Mahmud of Ghazni. After dismantling the Ghaznavids, Alauddin Hussain Shah established his own suzerainty, his own power in the central Afghanistan. And he appointed these two brothers, the Ghiyath Aleen Muhammad and Shihabuddin Muhammad, as governors of Sunja province of Afghanistan. But they started disobeying his authority, and without his permission, they started raiding the neighboring areas. Exasperated because of these acts of these two brothers, Alauddin Hussain imprisoned them in Waziristan. And after the death of Alauddin Hussain, their cousin released them. After securing their release, the younger one, Shihabuddin Muhammad, started marching towards India through the Thar desert. His aim was Anhilwada. He was also attracted by famous riches of India and wanted to repeat the same kind of victory once scored by Mahmud of Ghazni. But this time he was met with a very massive army, a very tough resistance offered by Nayaka Devi. Nayaka Devi pitched his very young boy, who later on became Mularaj II. So a massive army confronted the march of Shihabuddin Muhammad nearby the foothills of Mount Abu, and a very deadly battle ensued. In this battle, the Muslim army was totally defeated, devastated with great slaughter, and Shihabuddin Muhammad had to run with his life. Such was his defeat that it broke his morale for almost 12 years. And for the next 12 years, he could not intend to invade any other Hindu ruler. Now, this battle, in which the Muslim army had to face this devastating defeat, is registered in the annals of history as the Battle of Kayarada or Battle of Kasharada, after the name of that battleground. So this was a humiliating defeat which did not allow Shihabuddin Muhammad to eye over India again for almost 12 years. But what happened? How did he dare to attack India again in 1191, which was later known to be the First Battle of Tarain? Well, there's a story about it. When the Battle of Kayarada took place, or Battle of Kasharada took place, during that time, Muhammad Shihabuddin or Shihabuddin Muhammad had already captured Peshawar in 1178. Slowly, he also captured Sialkot in 1185 and Lahore in 1186. And in this way now, he was knocking at the doors of mighty Chahmana kingdom. At that time, it was ruled by Prithviraj III, famously known as Prithviraj Chauhan. And he captured the fortress of Sarhind, which is also known as Tabar Hinda. Now, this was a direct challenge to the authority of the Chahmana king, because the fortress of Sarhind was well within the limits of the suzerainty of the Chahmana kings. This message was conveyed to Prithviraja by Chandaraja. Chandaraja was the son of Vasal Govindraja, who was the governor of Delhi. And in this way, the Chahmana army met with the Ghurid army at the battleground of Tarain. And this battle is known as the First Battle of Tarain, which took place in 1191 AD. In this battle, Shihabuddin Muhammad was very seriously wounded by the javelin thrown by Govindraja and fell off the horse. But he was saved by one of his foot soldiers of Khalji stock. The soldier clasped the wounded Sardar and ran away on a horse. He was chased and pursued for a long distance before returning. And in this way, after chasing away him, the Chahmana army returned. This humiliating defeat was so humiliating that the next year, after treating his wounds, Shihabuddin Muhammad, famously known as Muhammad Ghiri, returned back with 120,000 soldiers in 1192. And it was the same place, the battleground of Tarain, where he threatened the Chahmana authority. This time, Prithviraj III issued him with a warning to return back, and he also issued a surety that he will not be pursued. And Shihabuddin Muhammad, showing his tactfulness, used a ploy. He told Prithviraj III that he is interested in a treaty. And for the sake of the treaty, he wanted permission from his elder brother, Giyat al-Din Muhammad. And he is waiting for his message. And in this way, both the armies, the Chahmana army and the army of Shihabuddin Muhammad, encamped for almost 1 or 2 days at the battleground of Tarain. Prithviraj Chauhan was still under the illusion of the supposed treaty, according to which Punjab, Multan and Sarhinda was to be under the acquisition of the Shihabuddin Muhammad, and the remaining areas under the Chahmana territory were to be left undisturbed. So he was still under the illusion of this treaty, and then suddenly the Ghurid army attacked. The Ghurid army started using guerrilla warfare and started attacking and retreating in different directions. In this way, they confused and made the Chahmana army completely tired, and a fresh attack was launched with a reserved contingent, and Prithviraj Chauhan was captured, and later on he was beheaded under the Ghurid ruler Shihabuddin Muhammad. And as a mark of celebration, the Sanskrit college, which was once established by the famous Chahmana king Vyagraraj IV, was converted into a mosque. The mosque was famously known as Adhai Din Ka Jhopda. So this is the story of the origin of Muhammad Ghiri and his subsequent invasions of India. So now we know that Muhammad Ghori, whose original name is Shihabuddin Muhammad or Muizuddin Muhammad bin Sam, fought three major battles against the Rajput powers. In the first battle, which is famously known as Battle of Kayarada in 1178, he was defeated very badly by Mularaj II. And he was again defeated after 12 years in 1191 by Prithviraj Chauhan. And in the third battle, which he fought against Prithviraj Chauhan, which is known as the Second Battle of Tarain in 1192, he scored a major victory. In this battle, Prithviraj Chauhan did not receive any aid from the other neighboring Rajput kings, such as Jaichand of Garhwala dynasty. Later on, Jaichand also paid the price in the Battle of Chandawar in 1194 AD. So this is the story of Muhammad bin Ghori, and we will talk about the subsequent Muslim society in India and further invasions and capture of authority in the next video. Thanks for watching. Do subscribe the channel.